So this might be one of the most unique, creative RPGs I've played since maybe Undertale, which is insane to say, but the guy that created this game wasn't afraid to jump out of that box, look beyond the norms, and see how he could transform traditional RPGs into something a little bit beyond the standard formula. This one's going to be a fun one, guys, and the creator of this game actually wanted to hook one of you guys up with a code for this game, and of course, I wanted to jump in and throw in 2 $5 eShop gift cards, so in total we'll be giving away 3 prizes out of this video. All you have to do is comment in the section below. Anything is fine, even if you want to make fun of me, which I would really appreciate it if you would stop doing that, Grandma. Listen, I know you're the edgelord Mima, but it needs to stop. But listen, while you're down there commenting, might as well subscribe and like as well. That would really help the channel out. So let's just get into it and let's talk about Frowntown. As I said before, this is an RPG with a lot of different mechanics to it. There's no dungeons or dragons or anything like that. In fact, your enemy is also your potential fans, as you perfect your ability to tell a good joke, work on your wit, on your journey to become one of the great stand-up comedians of Frowntown. This whole place is based on trying to make it. In a lot of ways, it sort of reminds me of like New York in the late 90s, when we got so many amazing comedians, people that you've heard of like Bill Burr or Kevin Hart, or legends like Colin Quinn, Dave Attell, Patrice O'Neal. This whole era in stand-up comedy was huge, and I'm not saying that he took the inspiration for the game from this time, but to me it just felt like it. And so as I created my comedian to handle Frowntown, I thought of one of the best current stand-ups right now, that being Mark Norman. So I named my character Mark, kind of in honor of him, and sort of in the style of Pokemon, you also get to name your nemesis. And for some reason I named him Beavis. I don't really know why. I like Beavis. Anyway, you find yourself in a very crappy apartment, crappy area that you have to pay rent to. And if you don't, it's game over. Now, ideally, they want you to pay rent every week, but really it's just expected every 3rd week. And it's quite a bit of money for you considering you don't really get paid a lot, and so a lot of your money has to come from just like basically digging it out of the trash. Looking around, trying to find money that just happens to be on the ground, doing good deeds, doing other quests, but honestly mainly just finding it in the trash or finding things that you can sell, including trash. But the bigger picture here is that you get to talk to a lot of the townspeople. You see, there's a goal behind that. Aside from just being social, you can also practice jokes on them, which does help you, and they will pay you if they approve of your joke. But also, it's to learn about the town. You see, whatever club you're currently at, as there are 3 levels of them, you will have to do research to find out what the audience likes, what they think is funny. Luckily, you don't have to remember this, as it is written down in a notebook that you keep next to your bed. This notebook is also really important because it actually helps you practice jokes. You can just be in your room and practice jokes once a day, and it helps with your wit. If you want to tell better jokes, you want to make more money, you got to work on your wit. And the 2 ways to do that, practice jokes and also go to the library and read. Practicing your jokes on like the local townspeople can be beneficial, but it's pretty difficult. The best way I found was just practicing jokes alone in my apartment. It kind of made that a routine where that's how I would start my day. Then I would go out, search for trash or things to sell, and then go to the library, read, and eventually, if it was a Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, I'd go to the comedy club and work on my routine, which typically was not easy. The game is sort of a grind at the beginning. Now, there are 2 forms of combat in this game. One is from just like vagrants or thieves or somebody who just doesn't like you and they just come and hit you. I don't even know who they are. But you basically just mash the X button and try to hit them, and that's it for that. But when you're on stage, it actually works more like turn-based combat. You see, you'll have 3 different options. 1, basic joke, 2nd, people joke, and then the 3rd, edgy jokes. And on each option, there's actually 3 more options. So let's just say you pick basic joke. You'll be able to joke about work, food, and animals, or if it's edgy, it's like politics, drugs, stuff like that. And so when you're walking around, So while you're walking around talking to people, you're actually learning about what type of jokes they want to hear. And again, for a reference, depending on your comedy club, it's in your notebook and it'll tell you which jokes have the best opportunity to hit. Now you can tell any joke and you could still hit it depending on your wit level, honestly. If your wit level is really high, then yeah, you could just crush it on anything. But to give you a better opportunity, you want to include those 3 topics that are popular with the crowd. But once you start to actually perform well, you get a little bit more money here and there. You're not as worried about paying rent or game over. And so you're able to kind of experiment a little bit more with your money. One of the things that I found early on that really helped was also at the library, they have an improv class. It's like $30, but you instantly gain wit. You can also buy equipment, which will also help you as well. But wit is really the thing that determines how successful you are at the comedy club. And so that's the thing you want to work on the most. At least that was my strategy. I found out that going through the game throughout the week, if you were just to search for trash or things to sell or money, you usually could make rent when you needed to. And so most of the comedy club money you could put into other things. And there are other things that you can invest in. Things like DVDs, like good comedy DVDs that you can play at your house, but you have to buy a TV, buy a computer. You can buy all sorts of stuff to really help your environment grow and to help you so you can continue working your way through the comedy circuit and eventually perform at the showcase event where you can just kill and become a legend. But again, before you do that, you have to bomb, and you have to bomb a lot. That is part of the game that I actually really like, because stand-up comedy, being a musician, a lot of these things, you have to fail multiple times before you finally make it, and each failure can be a lesson. And that struggle is just something that really comes through with this game. And at times, especially early on, it can be a little bit grindy, but there's actually a lot to do that helps break things up in this game. For instance, just exploring the town. The town is a lot larger than you think. There's a few areas that are sort of limited. You can only go to on, I believe, Friday mornings and Sunday mornings, I think. I might be wrong on that. But there's different shops, they sell different things, you can talk to different people. As you gain success and gain fame, you'll run into fans, you can have a lot of different interactions with them, as well as do things like hand out flyers. Or if you want, you can just listen to the radio, which is a really cool feature of this game that actually has what feels like a live radio going on in the background. And that radio just feels really authentic. I don't know, and maybe it would be cool if like a certain game reviewer was on that. No, he's not, I'm not, but you know, I'm just saying this is one of those many things that the creator of this game did to really go outside of that traditional space by having a radio you can control that has ads, music, all sorts of stuff that you would expect from live radio. And I just think it's cool. It's a really cool little feature. Or if you're looking to be a little bit more edgy, this game also has, well, hooking up. You can hook up with some of your fans or groupies, which I think is a really funny thing that they allow that in. I like the fact that you can be sort of edgy, we'll put it that way. Also, there is drugs and alcohol. You can do those as well. Having that whole world and how choices that you make actually do affect the trajectory of your career. All of that being in this is just something that's different from the norm and something I really like. It takes a lot for me as an RPG fan to experience something I haven't experienced before in that genre, and this definitely did that. Now, without a doubt, there are some things about the game that aren't perfect, okay? For one, it's just made by one guy. I'm gonna guess it was made on a limited budget. There are minor lags and bugs that happen throughout the game, and in fact, one of the things I will say is when you pretty much enter a room or when you wake up, there is this noticeable lag. And as you play the game, you actually do get used to it. And the other issue I had with it was movement speed. Your character just moves really slow. I was constantly holding down the run button. But the nice thing to know is that this guy's still working on the game. In fact, he has a few planned updates coming. One that actually already dropped, but these are to fix minor lags and bugs and things like that, as well as some extra content coming and collectibles at some point. So there is a pretty large roadmap for this game, as well as a plan to address some of those minor bugs and performance issues. But anyway, for me, I think I would have to give this game an 8 out of 10. Now, to be fair, it does have a lot of technical issues with it. And that's why I would say even after the patches, I would still give it an 8 out of 10. Because if I'm honest, as I'm rating this game, I'm not really even figuring in the performance aspect. some of the bugs and things like that. I know how that works, especially with indie games created by one person, and some of that is the charm of these type of games. And so, I'm gonna give it a pass on some of the more technical issues. But if you want to check it out, just comment down below. You could win the grand prize, which is a code to this game, or you could win one of 2 $5 eShop gift cards. We will be doing the drawing for all 3 of those items on Saturday of this week. So yeah, make sure you comment and get your entry entered while you can. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Take care, everyone. Love y'all. Bye-bye.